Welcome back from that feature on tribute to victims of terrorism. And now in the studio with me is Mr. David Aruleba. He is the coordinator of One Stop Shop Abuja Enterprises Agency. And we'll be looking at Abuja Enterprises programs for the rural dwellers. You're welcome to the studio, sir.
Thank you very much, madam.
And it's good to have you again.
Thank you very much, Hadia.
So, what types of programs does the agency offer specifically for the rural dwellers?
Okay, so again, just a reminder that Abuja Enterprise Agency is the FCT's vehicle for promoting entrepreneurship and supporting micro and small businesses in the FCT. And our major role is to champion entrepreneurship across the FCT. We have a mandate to entrench entrepreneurship in every household of the FCT.
Okay.
So, and that includes even rural households. So, we have programs that are targeted at rural communities. In fact, the agency has used to have a rural community development department, which was expanded into a department now called the Social Enterprise and Inclusion Department.
Okay.
Now, in the Social Enterprise and Inclusion Department, we have the Rural Community Development Unit. We have a unit for liaison offices for the agency, which is targeted at reaching to the grassroots in each of the area councils. And then we have an agribusiness desk that has special projects for rural communities.
Okay, so can you give us an overview of the activities that are part of these programs?
Okay, so now in the rural community development units, they have programs that they organize outreaches. Let me call it that way. Let me call them outreaches to the rural communities. Now, in these rural communities, one of the things that we do is that for us to be able to reach out to more rural people, we target rural cooperatives. Now we know that when we're talking about entrenching entrepreneurship in all the rural households, we know that yes, in the rural communities we have rural enterprises that we also call nano or micro enterprises. So these are very small.
Yeah.
Exactly, these are people who operate very, very small businesses, like those that probably maybe sell some of these staple small foods like the akara seller, like the masa seller, and things like that. Like people that do zobo and some of these small things. So some of these people actually organize in groups. So now the rural cooperative units actually goes there to identify organized groups or even form groups, organized groups of people who are doing specific or same type of business, like even farmers, like farmer cooperatives and things like that. So they organize outreaches where we now go into the rural communities and then talk to these rural entrepreneurs on very special subjects, like some of these basic things that will help their businesses grow, like talking about savings culture, record keeping. Many of these people don't even know that you need to actually take records. That's taking, even if you have to sell, exactly, no matter how small it is. How much do you buy your beans? Exactly. What was the quantity and how many did it produce? And then what's the cost that it gave you at the end of the day? So these little things, record keeping, savings culture. How much do you save? So these are some of the things that we actually go into these communities to tell them that, see, also identify yourself in a cooperative. When you're in a cooperative and you're able to contribute, you're able to also contribute to a particular cause. I've talked so much on the rural community. For the liaison offices, like I said, what we're trying to do right now is that we're trying to set up liaison offices in at least one liaison office in each of the area councils.
Okay.
That will now take our services to the rural communities in the area councils, not for us to just stay in town. And then it's actually a little tasking for us to go, especially with the current economic situation.
Yeah, but then
having
once you
to
have
go
an
from
office
town
there, it will make it
exactly. We have
easy.
2 liaison offices currently, one in Gwagwalada and one in Buari area council.
Okay.
And now we're looking at setting up. We're soon setting up before the end of the year in Abuja.
Okay, so talking about your agency, how do you now identify, the needs of the rural people when designing your programs?
So for what we do basically is that we go into these communities and then we do what is called a needs assessment for our special programs. Very recently, we had a program targeted at rural women and youth, and it's called the Rural Skills Acquisition and Sensitization Initiative. So basically, we go into the rural communities, identify things that are within their community that they can use to create something, basically. So we conduct what's called a needs assessment, and then see what is very useful to them, what skills they can even develop from those resources that are within their communities,
and then help them to.
This has been very successful. For example, from the Rusasi, we had a collaboration with the Better Life Program for the African Rural Woman, championed by Her Excellency Haja Aisha Babangida, the daughter of the former head of state. Yes, and it was we've had 2 editions of the Rural Skills Acquisition Program, and so far we've been able to reach over 300 women and youth across the FCT. So we train them, especially from the COVID period, where we had to teach them on, things like compost making. From the farm, you can actually create compost that will help, improve the yield of your farmers. And then other than that, because we're also talking about hygiene, we're also able to teach them on how they can make soap, hand sanitizers, and basically sanitary products. So yes, we're able to do that. And at the end of the day, we have sourced, many of them have been able to produce and even sell within their local communities, and even the area council secretariats have been off-taking from them. We also have a One Village, One Product initiative, which was borrowed from Japan. And so basically, again, to your question as to how we are able to, the success rate and also identify the needs, we go into rural communities, identify products of economic value, especially agro commodities of economic value to those communities, and then we help them to develop that product across the value chain. So we go into the communities, we even set up processing centers. So we have in Abuja, where we identified shea butter, and we saw that yes, shea butter is abundant in that place, and some of the nuts are even going to waste. So we decided to set up a processing center in Abuja. In fact, not even 1 but 2. We have in Nuku, we have in Roboshi, and then we have in Rimba. So that's even 3.
These are all the supports you're giving them.
Yes. So these are things that they need to actually even improve. One, on the quality of their products. Then you're adding value. So if they were producing, crudely before, of course they would not sell as much as when they have, something of a better value. So with a better value, they're able to sell more. And then we've had stories where people are able to send their children to school from, processing in our centers. In Kwali Area Council, where we have Chikuku, we help them to set up a cassava processing center where they produce things like gari. Majorly is gari that they produce there. We're also trying to look at other areas of the value chain, like starch.
The agency is actually doing a lot to give support to the rural people.
Exactly.
And I'm sure there are so many places you people will reach out to.
Definitely. We have over 860 rural communities in the FCTA alone. So we've barely even scratched the surface. I think we've been able to reach just about 200 communities across the FCT, and we're looking at reaching out to more. In Buari Area Council, close to the border between Buari, the FCT, and Kaduna State, we're identifying farmers who are into ginger, and we're trying to collaborate even with the Japan International Cooperation Agency (JICA) to see how we can set up a processing center for those into ginger, and
That's a lot. That's a lot.
basically for export.
It's good to have people like you,
Thank you very much.
reaching out to people of the grassroots. Thank you
Very
so much,
happy.
Mr. David. We really appreciate you coming always on the program.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. And reaching out to our people out there.
Thank you very much.
Wow, we've been talking with Mr. David Aruleba, and he is the coordinator of One Stop Shop Abuja Enterprises, and we've been looking at the programs for the rural dwellers, and they have so much to to give out to our people there, the support and the resources for them to start something. We're going to short break and money saving tips.